What's up, everybody? It is Tim. It is late. It is Monday or Tuesday. It depends on the time, and I didn't look because I don't care. So, what's going on, everybody? So, remember, it seemed like it was forever ago. I said I was taking a break. Well, over. So, it's been a busy couple weeks for me. Been hitting some yard sales, found a few things. I actually went to a record fair yesterday, and I've got that video coming up here very soon. Um, if you, I posted it somewhere. Saw, nice haul. Special guest with that one too. So teasers. I'm 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 becoming more of a, on the next episode. So. I'm rambling. Who cares? So today, whatever. I've got some new vinyl. So, brand new. Not like new to me, but this was actually even pre-ordered vinyl. Bunch of CDs I picked up at some yard sales over the weekend, and some VCLT, which I'm going to start with first. So, Jeff Kempen. You know Jeff. Lovable Jeff. Big old teddy bear, nice guy Jeff. So he had posted a video of some VCLT he got from Bill over at the Vinylverse. You know Bill, lovable Bill, great Bill. Both of them great guys. I'm honored to call both of them friends. So I'm gonna leave the link to both of them because if it wasn't for Bill, this whole thing wouldn't have got kicked off in the first place. So if you saw Jeff's video, Jeff got some VCLT from Bill. Bill's a huge Genesis fan and sent Jeff generously some Genesis. The alliteration here is going crazy. So I had commented because Jeff had said, that one was an upgrade for him, and I was like, oh man, that's gonna be on my want list. I'm going to a record show, hoping to find. There's a couple Genesis albums that were on my list. This was one of them, and the other one was Selling English by the Pound, which I did not find, but I'll get it. But what Jeff sent me was his spare upgraded. He kept the upgrade, obviously, from Bill, but he sent me Genesis Seconds Out. Fantastic double live album. Right around, I think this was right after Gabriel left and Hackett was still at the group. You know what? I will admit I am the worst when it comes to the Genesis timelines. But it's still got some great stuff on it. So, and what's funny is that like I said, I did have this on my kind of my short list, and I didn't even see a copy. So, Jeff, you saved the day. I owe you, brother. I know you said I don't, but it's gonna happen. So that was my VCLT. I didn't open it on camera because I did know it was coming. It wasn't like it was a surprise that he was sending it. He reached out to me. So, but again, Jeff, thank you so much. Now on to the new. So a few weeks ago, I had made the comment that this was coming out and that I had pre-ordered it, and came in, gave it good 3 or 4 spins before I showed it off. And that's Prince, a microphone and a piano. This is 1983. Pretty much, Paisley Park was mic'd for sound. I mean, it was pretty much, he could record in any room he wanted. And that's pretty much what he did. The mood struck him to write a song. He could do it in any room. Kind of plug in and go. So, I'm guessing this was probably done more of in a studio, kind of tinkering around, because there's a little bit, not much, but a little bit of banter about some of the levels, which I thought was kind of cool, give it more of an authenticity. So this one, give you the track listing here. The side 1 is all one track. It's a medley. Side 2, you got 2 songs. I don't know if you could see that with all the glare and stuff like that. So 180 gram vinyl, comes in a nice, polyline MoFi sleeve. I always like it when the new albums do that, and usually if it's a good band, a band that or an artist that they know it's going to be collectible, that you seem to see that. Nice inner. Not a lot of information, but then again, it's Prince. What more do you need? My only gripe, I mean, it sounds great too, by the way. If you're a Prince fan, I highly recommend it. But my only gripe on it, and I'm not sure if it's the pressing or if it's the master, but I heard a little static. And not like, you know, from vinyl to needle. It was more like almost like a defect in the original tape. I mean, it's from 1983. It's been sitting around a while. So it's quite possible that there was limitations in the original source. I don't know. If you bought it, and you've listened to it, it would be in the medley side, probably in the first third. I hear two, and it's always the same. And it doesn't really distract it. You know, I've kind of accepted it as source limitation. But for my own personal morbid curiosity, if you picked it up and you don't hear that, let me know. I may send it back. So the other new album that I picked up, and this came in, it was due to come in tomorrow, honestly, and it came in Sunday, which was a nice surprise, but I haven't had a chance to spin it yet, and that is, oddly enough, the weird die cut Dave Grohl's Play. So what this was, Dave went in to a studio and he wrote a 23-minute song, complete instrumental, very prog, and he plays every instrument, every note. Two interesting things about this is that because he does, obviously there's the challenge of being able to make sure you can play everything, and he incorporates some instruments that he's not as familiar with. There was some keyboard work, there was a xylophone, which I thought was pretty cool in and of itself. But the challenging part that I thought was really awesome was that I think it was broken up into 7 different layers of the recording. So you had your guitar and your bass and your drums and things like that. But each layer, one take. And he's not perfect. He admits it. He's going to make mistakes. So if he got to minute 21 and screwed it up royally, he wasn't taking an edit. He literally went back to the beginning and did it again. Which I thought, really, sorry, Steve, my cat is shaking the thing that the camera's on, because, you know, that's what he does. I thought that was incredibly bold to say, you know what, I'm on take 6 of my 3rd layer. I'm sick of this damn song. That's pretty bold. And my understanding of what I've read and watched on this so far, this was kind of done as a promotion for musical education. You know, encouraging kids to just go out there and learn. You know, it's going to give you a sense of a different purpose, even if it's just for fun. But that being said, who knows where it could take you? I mean, his own words have been, you know, started a band, it was a shitty band, in a garage, and they played loud and they played horrible. But eventually, the horrible wasn't so bad. Then so bad was, all right, it was okay. The okay turned into Nirvana. And he's always been an advocate for that. Just, you know, let kids be kids and explore rock and roll, or whatever music. Let them do it loud, let them do it horribly, but you never know where the next good one's coming from. And I think that because he stood by his guns with that so much, it's at least worth a listen to play. It is on YouTube as the video, and I enjoyed it, so I had to get the album. I think this was under $15 on Amazon, so it's worth it. Interesting die cut, so it opens up very odd and unique. You see right here the layout of the studio, so everything was all done in the same room. He wanted to create the same vibe, and this being a 1-track, 1-side record. So the vinyl has a die cut on the back of that particular floor. I'm going to move the cover over here. And if the cat jumps up there, I'll have to pause the video and go ballistic, because that's what I do. So here is the die cut, if you can see it. Try to get the glare out of there, of the floor and the layout, which I thought was very cool. Very plain and basic side for the music. I have not had a chance to give this a spin, but like I said, I have heard the song, and it's really good. I mean, it was billed as a prog masterpiece. I don't know if I'd go that far, but if you like prog, you will really like this song. So go check it out. All right, so that's the vinyl. Now I got a stack of CDs, and if you've seen my channel, you know I listen to a lot of different things. I mean, I'm wearing a Roots shirt, for crying out loud, so you know I listen to hip hop, and I listen to soul and R&B and blues. Well, I'm starting blues, and jazz and psych and yada 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 blah blah blah. So while I was out, we decided to do some yard sales. Basically, it was a huge community, and it equated to be like about 100 or some odd sales in this area. And we kind of drove around, and you peek, didn't see anything for the little one, or us. So we kind of drove, and some we stopped, gambled. But man, CDs are really out there. So if you're not format specific, start picking them up, because I mean, everything you're gonna see here, $1 or less for each. And there's some heavy hitters in here. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So this is, and I believe it's from 2001, excuse me, I thought it was a little bit later. This is New Order's Get Ready. So obviously a newer album. Steve, stop shaking the camera, weirdo. So a newer album from New Order, and I must admit, stop shaking the camera, you goof. Sorry, apparently somebody wants to be the star of attention right now. So everybody say hi to Steve. Now, quit shaking the camera. Mr. Attention Man. He's a goof. He's going to do it again, because that's what he does. Here, New Order, Get Ready. Apparently he wants me to move on to a better CD. I haven't heard that yet, but I'm sure it's New Order. It's got to be good. This one I'm very familiar with. This is Catching Up with Depeche Mode. This is pretty much like a best of comp from their first few albums. So it's going to have things like Blasphemous Rumors, Master and Servant, Just Can't Get Enough, Dreaming of Me, So if you're familiar with the early Depeche Mode, one of my favorite eras, even though it's not my favorite album, I love early Depeche Mode. So Dave Matthews Band, Before These Crowded Streets, I'm pretty sure I already have this, but whenever I see CDs that I know I give a lot of spins to for $1, I'm going to pick up additional copies, just to give away, or for nothing else, to have a backup. So always glad to pick up Dave. I am a Dave fan. So another Depeche Mode album. This one is Playing the Angel. This one I thought was 2005, excuse me. Almost there. So newer Depeche Mode, I'll be honest, I didn't listen to as much, but it's Depeche Mode, so I'm going to say that I'm probably going to like it, because not too many things from Depeche Mode really turned me off. This is Live's debut, Mental Jewelry. So everyone knows Live, Throwing Copper, Secret Samadhi, there's a few others. This one grabbed me, because not only because it really didn't get overplayed, but there's a great song on here called Pain Down by the Riverside, and I absolutely love that song. Great keyboard work. Ed's vocals is really well done. So pretty sure it's Ed. We're doing one take, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So New Order again, and this one is from 1983, and this one is Power, Corruption, and Lies. So just a classic LP from New Order on disc. Blue Monday, Your Silent Face, Ultraviolence. I mean, just early 80s alt synth rock, right up my alley. It's what I grew up on. One of the things I grew up on. Another Depeche Mode exciter. I really cleaned up on some Depeche Mode. One seller actually, and just kept on saying, no, sure, they're $1, go for it. And I was, okay, I will gladly take these off your hands. So glad to add Exciter to the list. This one I had on cassette back in the day, so I'm glad to get a disc copy of it. And it's the Depeche Mode Live 101. This was from the Music for the Masses tour. So Behind the Wheel. But they do a lot of great older stuff as well. Blasphemous Rumors is on here. Black Celebration, which I absolutely love that albums. And excuse me, and they do A Question of Lust and A Question of Time. Black Celebration was one of those. It was just the great mix of like self-loathing and brooding, I guess. But at the same token, being a Depeche Mode album, it was just perfect for when you're like a miserable teen and you're not quite sure where you want to be in life. I love that album. I played the hell out of it. Best of New Order. I mean, we could really kind of say that everything from New Order in the 80s was their best. But, you know, if you're going to pick a selection, this is a great one. Has one of my absolute favorite songs by New Order on here called Love Vigilantes. Love that song. Always gives me goosebumps when I hear it. So, I mean, but you also have just so many hits. Pardon the crack in the case, I need to replace it, but pause it if you'd like. But there's tons of hits on there. A little something for the hard rock guys, because I'm a hard rock guy myself. Best of the Nuge. I get it. You know, he's kind of a weird out there, runs his mouth a little bit too much about things maybe he doesn't need to be. But then again, it's got some good music, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna buy a CD for $1 and jam out to it every once in a while. Another Dave CD, Dave Matthews Band Every Day. I know I have a copy of this, but again, for $1, I'm gonna grab them. I'm gonna pick them up. I'm gonna have spares just on that off chance anything happens, or I decide to give it away. The Smith singles. So, you know what? To me, Smiths would defined that alt 80s sound mentality. Just, I mean, I think everyone can admit that Morrissey's kind of a pompous ass. But man, I mean, the Smiths just cranked out a huge run of great albums. And this one's one that, honestly, I had to go get it out of the car to shoot this film. Since we got it, it's been in the car. And it's pretty much been in the CD player. So we're going to hold this one special because it's a naughty cover. That's right, it is the original cover of Blind Faith. So, been familiar with this album, but I've actually never owned it. It was one of those ones that, you know, back in high school when when money is not really something you have a lot of, but everyone's into different types of music, things like Depeche Mode and The Cure, but also you're discovering Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and Hendrix and, you know, a lot of classic rock like Blind Faith. You know, people would, someone's dad had record collections, or people were getting them, parents had CDs or cassettes, so you're all constantly getting, you know, music recorded and traded and stuff like this. So I'm familiar with the album, absolutely love it, glad to own a physical copy of it. We'll pick it up on vinyl at some point. It's not terribly expensive, but you know, you want to find a good one. I think I've told the story before about my nickname at work being Batman, so when you see that, you gotta buy it. This is the motion picture soundtrack by Prince. I would like to also add the Danny Elfman to this collection, but you know what, this is fun. Not every song here is a winner, in my opinion, but you got Bat Dance, you got Party Man, you got Trust, you got The Future. Some good stuff on there, and a great, you know, great movie. George Michael's Faith. I mean, could you really escape George Michael in the 80s? And I get it, it's more pop, and in the 80s I listened to pop, and it wasn't cool to listen to pop when all the circles that I that I hung around in were metal and thrash, and on one hand, and then on the other hand I had hip hop. I had my hip hop friends, and then over here I had my college alternatives, what we kind of called it back then, but it was your alternative music. It was like the Smiths and the Cure and stuff like that. But I couldn't deny a good pop record. I really couldn't. And this was a good pop record. Shep Pettibone had his hands all over some of the mixes in that one. And it was just fantastic. And the last CD, Simple Minds Live. So this is actually an English pressing. English pressing? An English pressing. Why am I doing Connery? You know what? And funny, I mentioned Connery. I was looking at movies, and my wife had never seen Rising Sun, and I almost bought it because the guy was selling it pretty cheap. And I just can't stand to watch a movie where Sean Connery speaks Japanese in a perfect Scottish accent. It's horribly bad, and absolutely funny because of it. Regardless, let's get back to this. Simple Minds Live. So, UK pressing, 2 discs. Absolutely love this album. I had it on cassette, and I think if I remember correctly, it was either, I thought it was even a 2 cassette back in the day, which was really odd because they could make cassettes for one for 90 minutes and blah 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 blah. But man, am I glad to have this one because this one just kicked. I mean, you got a lot of great hits from Simple Minds. I absolutely love them. So I'm glad and happy to add that to the collection. So that's what I got. But before I go, I talked about, I'm looking at 2 ridiculous stacks of new records. One is just from the vinyl show. One is like recent yard sale finds, stuff like that. So it's going to be a few videos to get them all done. But sadly, I have to say that a dear friend has decided to take a break. And no surprise, I think a lot of us have already known that Andy has decided that, enough's enough. And that there's some drama going on, and there's been some drama that's happened over the last few months and probably even the last year. And I see it, and I understand it. I mention it only because I plead with everybody. The reason why we do this, at least in my opinion, I mean, if I'm totally off base, I get it, but in my opinion, there's a really good chance that most of you I'll never meet, at least face to face. We'll never literally be in the same room, talking music, talking life, shooting the shit, whatever. So we have this interaction. I don't understand why it needs to be filled with drama. I get what has happened. And if you're not familiar and you're not certain, count your blessings. I'm happy to say that my channel has been relatively, not to my knowledge, drama-free. And I like to keep it that way. So when you're here, we're talking about music. I don't care about the format. Tell me about your huge cassette collection. Or, man, you have 5,078s. Or you collect reel to reel. I don't care. What I care about is the music, the camaraderie, and the friendship. So remember that when we're all on about and watching other videos and things like that. We are just a bunch of people looking to kind of talk about what we love. And I think it's important to remember that so we don't lose more people that really make us happy. So I know Andy's gonna be checking in from time to time. So if you happen to see this, Andy, and we're friends on Facebook, and you know I've said this to you because I messaged you, but I truly do love you. I love you like a brother, the brother that I probably never knew. Even though we've never met face to face, even though there's a good chance we may never meet face to face, we connect on so many different levels. We share a lot of common interests, and we've had some great conversations, and we will continue to have great conversations. we would love to see you back whenever the time is right and whenever the time is right for you. Until then, I know how to speak with you, but at the same token, I really do wish you well, because this is supposed to be fun. And when it's ready to become fun again, I'm here for you. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I really do hope that everybody has a great day and a great week. Like I said, I got a lot of cool stuff to show coming up. And I'll give you a spoiler. There's a couple grails. And I don't use that term often. So, and a surprise guest. It's not Andy, but a surprise guest nonetheless. So, thanks for watching. A little long, but you know, I had some stuff I want to get off my chest. Hope everybody's having a great day. We'll talk soon. Peace.